The City of Lawrence Board of Zoning Appeals is called to order at this time. I need an approval of the minutes from October 17th, 2023. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. Minutes stand as written. So it looks like, Renee, we got two special requests to be continued both with notice?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so we'll have to vote on those
We don't
individually.
have to vote because they automatically can have
Okay.
their,
With that
but I can
being,
read it into the record if you want.
please.
So we received requests to continue to the December 19th, 2023 notice for case 23 LUSV 12, 6525 Lee Road, and also for petition 23 LUSV 13, 6313 Lee Road. Both of those will be held on December 19th right here.
Okay, thank you. So we're ready to hear old business 23 LSE-08 7140 East 46th Street, a special exception variance of the City of Indianapolis Consolidated Zoning Subdivision Ordinance, Table 743-1, to allow transitional living quarters in a C4 zone. Anyone joining us? Okay.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Yes. So I was requested last week of a few things to provide for you all. And I did that. I put it in a little binder here for you to review. And I answered, it was 5 things that was asked of me. So I don't know if they've had time to review it or if there are any questions or have I answered it to your suffice.
Why don't you walk us through this book and sort of talk about
okay.
each page
Here
and
comes Faith.
what it means to you?
Okay, thank you, Sweetie. Okay, first, I'm going to go through this because I know it's only 10 minutes. I'm not going to take a lot of time. So what I thought I would do first was give like an executive summary of how the operation runs, and there's a couple of things. We have women, families, homeless, substance abuse, mental illness, and a few statistics to follow with that. And then I just provided some facts just so that people would be updated on some things that I had researched out. Then I put in the mission statement, and then a few of the program specifics there. Then next, I listed the partnerships and people that I contract with so that you could have an idea of who I'm working with, and you already know the people I'm servicing. And then I gave a little brief synopsis of the financial outlook with fees. With the exception, there's a lot of things that are not on there, but I wasn't doing a detailed statement, just to highlight so you could see how things go. It's a lot of things that are not included in there, like property tax, the insurance on the building plus my own insurance, the repair and what I put that building in order for it to be a home for these. It's not my property. And the next thing, someone asked about the intake, how we do our intake. So I provided the form that we use along with our discharge form, and everything is listed there, pretty self-explanatory on each one of those. Then I have a face sheet that I use when the individuals come in. Because sometimes, the older ones, they don't have the IDs. We have to work with them, get IDs, and want to make sure things are in place there for them. The rules and expectations, I put that. Then I was asked about background checks or whatever. I put the form that we use there. And then I put a few pictures in there of the facility, how it's set up. And then lastly, I provided not last, but the fire drill that we use to make sure people are safe there. And then I provided the diagram of the building.
So my question, okay, is, so who is monitoring these people 24 hours?
Well, I'm there at night, and I'm there in the day because I'm in the office, but I have 4 individuals that are working there, all through the day.
Just through the day, but not at night?
No, at night, I'm there, and I have a camera system that's set up and that I can see in my room, in my bedroom where I'm at, every room in the house. But I don't have issues at night when they go to bed. They get medication, they're asleep. It's just in the day when I have to have the activities going on, get them to the doctor. The psychologists coming in twice a week, case managers, whatever. It's busy during the day, but at night they're pretty worn out. So you're concerned with that?
If nobody's there at night, they could get out.
No,
Under
they
the-
can't. The alarm goes off.
Well, that's not in here.
Oh, okay.
That's what we wanted to,
Yeah, I have that.
okay.
I have,
So you spend all night there,
yes,
and there's an alarm that if they walk out, it goes off.
goes off. And complete camera system. Safety is very important to me. I got to be safe. They have to be safe. So, and then, even though it's a little invasive, maybe some people think you see what's going on. So all I have to do is rewind.
You had to what?
Rewind. You know what I mean? I can see whatever's going on. So, safety. I have an excellent system in there. Cost quite a bit to put it in like that. And it wasn't in that building. I put it in. I put all the exit signs up with the lighted system. I put all that in. So safety is there.
My concern is the people that are in there, you're next to an apartment, you also have a child daycare across the street. Those are my concerns.
Yes, but I do not have individuals that would be a concern. Like, I've had calls now for like pedophiles, whatever, but I don't take those people, and of course they are not within the range. I'm not far enough away from churches, daycares, schools, or whatever, so I don't have to worry about that, because I don't accept them.
Okay. Board have any other questions?
Yes, I have a question about your finances. I would have sworn that last time you testified that you supported this yourself, but it looks like you were under contract to serve some of these people and are paid a fee.
They have a
that?
program fee that each person pays. That's to cover things. But as far as funding, my response was, I do not receive funding. Whatever is needed extra, I just put that in myself, and make that work for these individuals because they have nowhere to go. a lot of them don't even have family. They're up in age, most of them, except for a few younger ones, and they really don't have anyone. So it's
So the $10,000 to $12,000 a month, where does it come from?
that comes from when they pay their program fees for being there.
Who is
and
they? Who is
fees.
they?
The clients. The
These
clients.
people living with you.
They have to do that because I give my time, my service, and extras that I provide for them. But if they would live anywhere, they would have to pay something. So with that, it includes a lot of things for them. Their meals are always done for them. The laundry, the people coming, the clean, because they're just not individuals that could really live on their own in the way that it would be acceptable in society. Everything would be all disarray. They would not probably be at their appointments like they should or take their medicine consistently. And that's important. I administer all the medicines. The medicines are in a locked room. We have a medication room. And so I take that responsibility because I'm still licensed with the state of Indiana as a nurse.
So these people don't have jobs. They get monthly stipends from some of these key partnerships, and then they take this money and pass it on to you.
Well, sometimes they really don't have an income. So a lot of places, they won't take them if they don't have an income. But I don't do it quite like that. We try to connect with a resource or try to help them because it sounds unrealistic, but you would be surprised how many people, until it's a process to get the SSI or whatever they can get, because if they have not worked 10 years, they don't qualify for Social Security. So it's a journey, but it's rewarding when you can see this individual move from A to B to C, and you're helping them become a better person in the neighborhood, in society, understanding to respect things, appreciate things. And I get a lot of joy out of just seeing that you can see a change. Now, not all can I reach, and I do not talk about them, but if they're not ready, that's why I do like a month to month sometime, so that I can evaluate these people along with the psychologist to see if they're ready. That's all I say. I always say either they're ready to improve their life or, you know, they're pretty much okay right now just doing what they do, but that's not what will keep them with me. So I just want to be able to.
So do you ever, I don't know the right word, flunk out any of your residents and say they just can't stay with you?
Well, yes, I must admit, you know, that's why I chose to do the month to month. This was a little learning experience for me because being a mother, being, you know, a nurse, whatever, your heart goes out, but you have to really look at things because so many entities are involved. So, like I said, when I communicate with case managers or maybe a family member, I tell them right up front how this works and how it must go for success with the person. And if they're just not ready, they're just not ready. And so it's not a good fit, and I'm not trying to overwork myself at my age now when I'm trying to give back, but I'm willing to go that extra mile or whatever to help someone if I can do that.
How do you pay for the workers that come in during the day?
No, because of the age of my individuals, some of them qualify for the individual helpers to come in so many hours a day to assist with them. So when they come in, they, help with, the things that are needed there. So it works out fine. We have 3 or 4 people every day. We have a schedule. Everything's by schedule. It just works out better like it. And plus, it really gives the clients an understanding of, processing and getting things done. Like, they know exactly when they're going to have their breakfast. They know exactly when groups start, exercise group, when the psychologist's coming in, when the caseworker's coming in, when they have to go over for their appointments. So I don't have it set up like it's an institution or whatever, but we have an ordered business.
So when do you do all the cooking?
No, I have meals come in, because they qualify for meals, so we have that as well.
Now, sometime you have to leave, so who's there when you're not there?
When I'm not there, I have individuals that I have personally trained that work there with me, not as an employee or anything, but just so they know how it runs. And then if I have to leave, and my husband's not there, but my husband's there every day with me, so it's one or the other there at all times.
Well, none of these volunteers get paid or anything that come in to help you.
Well, see, the ones that come in for SEQOA, you understand, they are the people, they are granted so many nursing hours, so they're paid by whatever agency they're working for.
Okay.
Is this your home?
Well, you know what? I didn't want to say that, but it is not my home. When I started this, I had an individual that was working in my place, and then they had a family member or something that became ill that was very close to them. They had to leave. So I'm real particular about my little people, so I came in and I've just been there for about 4 years. So it'll change over time, but right now, I want the best for them. I want more success than failure, and I want it to run a certain way. And I do run a tight ship. I really, really do, because I want success for people if that's what they want.
Do you live in Lawrence?
I don't live very far. I live on Thornley, right off of 46 in Emerson. I've been there 40 years.
Oh, that's not Lawrence?
You know what? The post office, my mail comes to Lawrence.
Okay.
But I'm considered Washington.
Oh, sometimes I get lost where the boundary
and,
is.
and then the people across the street is different. So it's just the way the line is.
Yeah, because I have several questions.
Okay.
Because I was reading in the city's analysis that the transitional living quarters that you are presently running in Lawrence, the city of Lawrence doesn't have any districts with the proper zoning classification for what you're doing, that it's in districts D6, 6, II, D7, D10, D11. Have you looked for any properties in those zonings?
No.
Okay. And are the people that you're taking in, are they like Lawrence residents? I mean, because I guess, okay, maybe I'll ask it this way. You're transitioning, what I'm trying to understand, you're transitioning folks from where to where?
Well, from where to where, that
Geographically,
varies.
just geographically, yeah.
It varies. Eskenazi could call me, a dialysis patient, he has nowhere to go. He could have lived on the north side of town or a south side of town. He has nowhere to go. They need to place this person. So, I go through some criteria and see if, I'm able to accommodate or even if I have a space at that time. So I don't know if I answered that, but
And then where do you transition them to?
usually what happens, the ones that move forward, the case managers and things, when they're able to maybe move forward, they may, and I hate to say, sometimes they may transition to a nursing home. If that's what's happened, that's the bottom end. And then I've had a few that were able to move into an apartment, but it was still monitored. So a little different, but it's a journey.
I guess geographically, though, are they staying in Lawrence,
Are they staying?
or are you transitioning them to elsewhere?
Well, it depends on, when once the case manager or whoever's working with them decide that maybe they could move somewhere, wherever they can get them placement. So someone that's lived maybe, I'll say on the east side of life, they may end up in Greenfield if that's where, or Greenwood, if that's where they find an opening that's sufficient and that will suffice that person. So it's not, no, I hope I'm.
No, that's
doing this,
fine.
but it's
No, I'm trying to kind of narrow into what is it specific about this house? Maybe how did you acquire the house, or why is it this house? That's really the question I'm trying to get to. Why this house?
Because I wanted to pull the people together. I did not want them like scattered out a lot, and I could work with them, and I wanted it to be consistency because these people need consistency. Because when you're dealing with people that have been hurt, they've been involved in many things, it may take them months, maybe a year to build up trust with someone. So consistency and continuity is paramount to what I'm doing. And I've seen that it works. It really works. Now, no, I can't say everyone that comes through because I would be lying, no. But I have seen very good success with it.
Sure.
I have.
Yeah, and I'm not disputing that at all. What I'm doing is I'm just trying to answer the question about why this location and why not a house that's properly zoned. So, was this house a gift to you, or was this
No, it was
something that you
not a gift.
purchased?
Well, I could look at it as a gift, like in this term. It was set up pretty much how I wanted it to be. The space was there. I love the idea that they had a really nice big yard that they could just be in, and we're doing stand-up gardens for next year, like a little therapy. It's plenty of room and it's not crowded. So,
Excuse me.
and I looked at other places, but maybe it was just a brick building that maybe, it just didn't look like a home. And this pretty much was set up where it appeared like a home to them. So,
Okay. When did you purchase the home?
no, I did not purchase this. I'm under lease.
You're under lease.
Yes,
Oh, I see. How long is your lease?
5 years.
And when does that end?
Let's see, this July 1st, I was in the building, let's see, for a year, so 4 more years.
And what happens?
Can I ask a question about
Sure.
this? What is the house? Is it 2-story or a 1-story house with a basement?
Well, I would want to say it's 2-story because it's not just a basement. It's 2 doors out, and the history on it that I learned from a neighbor was it originally was, I guess, the early 60s, late 50s, whatever, was a dance studio. That's what it was. So the rooms are really, really large in there, so.
So have you ever had a fire inspection? It looks like some of your sleeping rooms have no windows, no closets. And I'm under the understanding that a sleeping room has to have windows and exits.
They do, but they're up high, the windows are.
Can they get out if there was a fire?
No, but the door is right in their room for an exit.
But that's the only exit.
No,
the
it's
door.
two.
Have
no,
you had a fire inspection, I guess?
Yes, I've had the inspection, and I'm working, oh gosh, I can't think of his name.
Eric,
Now, with
Eric.
that situation, yes.
Eric and Greg,
Yes.
I'll answer some of those questions when I do
Okay,
mine.
what, Renee?
I said I'll answer some of those questions when I get to
Oh, okay,
my stuff.
Okay.
be quiet.
Oh, that's okay. No, ask. Ask.
Ms. Jackson, I won't, for a moment, question your heart and the work you're doing, but I think it's fair to say that we're concerned with the location of this particular business. I think that's the challenge that we have in front of us. So how would you, now that winter time is coming, gardening season is over, sadly,
Yes.
how would you describe, tell us a little bit more about daytime activities with the residents?
Okay, daytime activities, and that varies from person to person because each person has a little different goal plan, goal setting, whatever. So, but the things that we have consistent are the recreations, like in the morning when they get up, it's, usually get in the showers, the people get them done. Then we have our breakfast, then, or smoke break outside. So I have some smokers, so they have to do that. Then they'll come in and then maybe therapy will start. They have that one-on-one. And then they have maybe games. They'll have some free time. The case manager may be coming in.
Are they allowed to leave the property if they want to go walk on a nice day?
They can walk, but when they walk, I usually have someone with them.
Sure.
Except for the ones that are able, like the younger ones, that have to go to Midtown, well, not Midtown, Sandra Eskenazi now, or they have to keep their doctor's appointment.
So who drives the passenger van? I keep hearing that there's
do.
these people,
I do.
and it's like they're employees, but now I'm hearing they're I'm getting really confused of who all is really there.
They're not volunteers. I stated they're paid by a nursing agency, the people that work.
Those are professional services folks,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Do you have any W-2 staff helping you? Any employees?
No, no,
No employees.
no.
Okay.
And she's using the system as designed.
Sure, right.
Go ahead.
What's the length of stay of a typical resident with you?
Usually 12 to 15 months if things don't change. That's what I look at before, they would transition somewhere else. And usually by then, they can go somewhere, whether it's maybe a family member will take them back. I've had different situations, or like I said, they still have apartments that are monitored, but the one thing that helps them is that before you did not even qualify for a place like this, but staying there, understanding a routine, following rules, having consistency and continuity, and a different mindset and time for therapy and different things, it's made them a better productive person. So that's the whole thing.
Do you like, in this 12-month timeframe, I mean, is that like a typical thing you have where you either transition them to a group home or just say, we can't, we being you can't do any more, so you have to move on or move into a different environment, or?
Yes, the majority of the time. I have a couple older ones that I know that they're probably going to end up in a nursing home, but I try to keep them as long as I can until maybe I can't manage their care or the nursing staff that comes in. So then it would be feasible to look at the reality of what is transitioning. And yes, they would end up there. But before that, they have continuity, they have a home, they have someone that's going to be an advocate as much as I can for them. And you could just see some happiness for this individual that pretty much would have just lost
And I know
the shuffle.
your presentation says there's no place that has the designation, the zoning. But isn't there some men's home here on the fort?
That's different. It's a different, this is considered transitional because it's taking incarcerated people or people from the hospital and places where they have nowhere to go. So it's considered a transitional home. Those are considered group homes. And it's a different definition, a different classification, and different allowed uses per zoning. So this very specifically is defined as a transitional living, straight from the zoning code. The definition of a transitional living quarters is a residential facility providing temporary lodging for families or individuals in immediate need. The facility may also provide limited temporary counseling, referral, mediation, and similar human service functions. This definition does not include a group home, a daily emergency shelter, diversion center, or residential facilities or shelters for residents who are required to leave during the day for work or other purposes. So that is a
That's what's
quote.
over here.
Yes. So like over here on Lawton Loop, the Marici building,
Yeah.
that is for like children or adults who are autistic.
Yeah.
And it's actually a group home for autistic individuals.
Functioning.
And that is a completely different zoning
That's not the
classification.
one I was talking about. I thought there was like a,
Domicile.
You're talking over on 46th Street?
No, the domicile here on the,
Oh, yeah.
on the fort.
Yeah, that's,
On Burn Building.
that's not people coming from incarceration or from the hospital with no place to go. They're very different definitions in zoning code of what that is classified as.
It's like VOA.
But it
Yes.
sounds similar.
They are, a lot of them are very similar, but it's.
The services
The
provided.
services
are,
is what gives them a different classification.
yeah. So my question was also, do you work with other transitional homes? So let's say, for example, someone, you determined that you cannot continue them in your program. Do you move them to another transition like the VOA, or where then do they go, this person?
Well, actually,
You
I
just dump
should
them
have
on
the
the street.
VOA down. I've had
I don't take you for someone who would just dump them on the
No,
street.
no. I want the clarity there because I want people to truly understand what I do and the importance of it. So I'm not upset at any question. I just want to make sure that when I deliver, I'm giving you what you're asking. So I do know other transitional homes that they could take someone, but if it's a problem I don't know, I cut straight through the chase. This is what's going on, and I'm not going to refer this person. I'm going to have the case manager step in and probably take that over.
What do they pay for this program? You said that they have to pay a stipend or something. How much is it to stay there?
For them to be there is $675.
A month? Okay.
And just a point of clarification, I heard in respect to how long the business has been there operating in that location, I think I heard 2 years, and then I heard somewhere along the way 4 years.
No.
So I'm a little confused about the length of time that you've actually been at this location.
No, 1 year.
1
July
year.
1 was
Okay.
1 year here. 1 year. And then
What
4 more
was-
years to go. She asked how long was my leave.
Yeah, I caught that part, but I remember something historically speaking, 4 years. The program has been around. Did I miss?
Oh, no, I started in 2016, but I was on the west side of town.
I see. Okay.
And then so I found this building, and that's why I chose it, because it was really the size, and I could, instead of creating, having to have so much work done, I have my own medicine room now, and then the psychologists can go in there if they need to. It's just a lot of pluses that I could see because of what my expectation was for the business.
All right, now, you've said the pedophiles can't be there because you're not far enough away from a
School, so that's,
school.
yeah.
What about violent offenders? Do you take in violent offenders?
No, usually when I hate to say this, but the reality is a lot of times when I get individuals that have been incarcerated, it's someone that has been incarcerated for trespassing because they've been off of their psychotropic drugs. And so that's why I'm saying when you have homeless, mentally challenged people, it's just a circle.
Right.
That each one taps right into the next.
Where else are these kind of facilities available, and what kind of issues have arisen with them? Can you give us some insight on that?
You mean with the clients?
I know you had a place on the west side. I assume that's not, you're not running that anymore.
No, not over there, because
Right.
like I said, I chose this building to kind of set things up different. The only thing, because, and I don't like to get into that because there's a lot of other things involved, politics, whatever, but a lot of these people that are challenged, then they need their medication. If they decide not to take it, it's okay, because they're over 21 and they can make that decision. But in reality, if it's already been a diagnosis put in place, people have prescribed medicine, and all these entities are in place, then you would think that the next step would be when this person is maybe thinking a little differently to kind of put them in, on the right track so that they won't get arrested for trespassing. They haven't had their medicine. They don't receive it when they're incarcerated. Then they're released and they're doing the same thing again. So for me, when I work with a multidisciplinary team, and this is just how I work. If we put a plan on the table, we may revisit it, revise it, put some interventions in place, make some connections, but I'm not looking for the same outcome. And if that's the way that team's working, I'm not a part of it. I'm very serious about what I do. It makes no sense to me. A lot of this stuff is done because why are you allowing a person that you know needs this medication, it's been prescribed, and just because they had the right to say no, and then here goes the circle again. So when they're with me, I teach them it's okay to have a problem. It's not your fault. Let's talk about it. The therapists come in, whatever. But let's realize the things that you did good and what happens every time that you don't take your medication or you don't go see your doctor or you don't talk to your therapist. So I try to outweigh the good with the bad, and it can be done if they stay, consistent and continuity with this. But now, I mean, I run into situations where, and I understand, because there's not many people working, seem like, anymore. So someone's medicine, the prescription went in, but they went to the wrong pharmacy, or someone dropped the ball and they didn't send it out. I mean, I do an array of things and wear a lot of hats, but I get it done because I want to see these people succeed, and I want to show others this is one little stepping stone to helping our world and society be a better place. You've got to improve people, but first they got to understand the importance. And I take that seriously because when I was working as a home care nurse, the last 20 years I traveled for the VA. One of the things, when you're going in, the majority of the clients were male. So you have to present yourself a certain way. You just can't come in, take over people's homes. And I was everywhere from Muncie. I had a 60-mile radius. I could be in Muncie, Mount Comfort, wherever. But you meet them where they are, and you try to communicate with them where they understand you. So when I would go in sometime and they had not completed their regime of maybe antibiotics or whatever, I would talk to them about it, and then I want to get a listening ear. So once I could get the listening ear, then I would tell them the importance of taking it for the 10 days and the reason why, because if not, maybe the next time you would have to take something stronger or.
Okay, we need to progress on. This is not,
No.
Okay.
we understand, you're doing great work.
Okay.
But we're trying to understand.
So I have a question, and the question is whether or not we have listed the child care center and the school are listed in the analysis. Were they noticed about the hearing?
Yes.
Is anyone here from either?
Is anybody here from the daycare, the school?
Have we heard, have they made any
You're-
type of objection? I'd like to hear from them.
Okay,
Well, I just have another couple questions.
Sure.
The owner is Propriety Real Estate, and then it says, is the petitioner the owner of 100% of the area? Renee, maybe you can, because I'm just trying to figure out, the variance is going to be for a provider or the owner?
Petitioner. So you guys can always make this, if you were to choose to grant it, you could make a commitment that it is for this petitioner and this Great For You Answers business only.
We can, str-
So somebody else,
Right.
if she closes, can't come in and do the same thing without coming back before the board.
and we can restrict it for 1 year and make it renewable, and we can basically make any type of determination.
Commitment you want. As long as she agrees.
Can I sneak in one more question? So just so I understand, so is the property owner here?
No,
evening?
but I
The landlord.
ain't
landlord?
filled out the paperwork.
No, I understand, I understand. Did the landlord understand the business that you were interested in? Was there any zoning matters introduced at that time to, maybe you ought to check out the zoning to make sure it's acceptable? I mean, did this come up in any fashion before?
No,
Now?
because my understanding, as long as it was C4, and he told me that his building was C4, so.
All right. Yeah, I'd like to hear from this.
Yeah, we're going to move on.
Okay.
Thank you.
We'll be able,
One more question.
okay.
It sounds like you're almost running a nursing home. Are you licensed under any other aspect of your business?
It's not a
I
nursing.
don't have a nursing.
On this.
Well, but you're functioning like one,
I don't think so.
giving meds, doing, so you have no other licensure to run a transitional housing?
Elementary.
No, but a lot of the homes, that's what they do. I mean, transitional, people are on medication.
Okay, thank you.
How many do you have right now?
11.
Okay, thank you. Now we'll hear from the remonstrators for and against this petition. Please step up to the podium, state your name.
Just so you guys know, there's 10 minutes for all of the remonstrators.
sworn anybody in.
Well, you need to do that.
I forgot. Okay,
Where's your cheat sheet?
I know, I was off of it tonight.
Hold on one second, we got to swear you in.
It's turkey break.
It is.
Anyone going to talk tonight, please raise your right hand and say "I do" after I do the oath. If you have not done so, please sign in. Okay. Do you swear from the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Answer with "I do."
Affirm to.
Thank you. Go ahead.
My name's Frederick Martin. I'm retired United States Army, 43 years. And I own the two buildings to the due east of this building we're talking about. And I leased the one church, the front building to a church, a Christian church. And then I have a sign business at the back that I did retire is in June. So I now retired. But I'm here, I did not want this building next door to me like this. And the little church I lease is it's a lease, it's a church, and it's fully furnished and seats about 150 people. And my back building was a sign business. Right now I'm retired, so.
What are your concerns?
What are your,
Yeah, what are your concerns? What are your concerns?
The quality of the people and seeing them walk around, some of the things I've seen there.
Can you give an example?
Well, I don't know how to say it. I've seen some drinking, and I've seen a lot of people walking around that just shouldn't be. And I'm reluctant to have a church right next door with this type of people that are there.
Is the concern just people milling about, or?
Pardon me? Yes, a lot.
have they done anything? I mean, have they approached the school? Have they?
Yeah, we're looking for
No.
any threats to safety.
No. I have a neighbor, there's another neighbor right next door to him that's a police officer. There's two, in fact, a lady and a man, and they're both police officers right there, and I can only go by what has been told to me. They have seen a car pull to the side of one of the openings in the house, and they've seen people handing things out coming from a car. That's been told to me. That's all I can tell you. I did
Is
not
there any
see.
police record of that?
Pardon me?
Is there any police record of that?
That,
Not that I know of.
she will address those questions.
Yeah, I've checked.
Okay,
I don't know of any.
okay.
Okay.
Because the testimony was that there's home health aides that are bringing in medication, and there are people coming in and out. So I guess in essence, what you're telling me doesn't
That
really
could
sound
very well.
surprising.
I thought the same thing when I heard that lady talk about that, so I don't know.
Okay.
I just have heard it. I just know what I've heard them say.
Yeah, so I'm really interested to hear if you have any specific safety concerns, if you have any, your tenants have reported any issues to you, if it has affected, because I think they've been in operation for over a year, and how that has affected.
More than a current year, ma'am.
Yeah, and
I heard that, but it's been well over a year. It's been probably 2 to 3 years at least.
okay. So I don't know, I don't have her lease, but that's all we know. But my question is, we want to know about safety concerns, and we want to know about how it's affecting your property and your ability to lease your space.
Has it affected my property? Not that I know of.
Okay.
I just know that it's not zoned. That particular building is not zoned. At one time, it was a dance studio. I do remember that. Then after that, there was a real estate company. And the real estate people, whoever were there, and they undoubtedly sold it to whoever these people here are.
Okay. Any other questions for him?
No.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Next on my list is a Steve Carley, but I also have a letter from you. Do you want to speak, or do you want me to read the letter?
Can I read the letter?
Absolutely. Okay.
But
You all have a copy of this letter in your packet too.
participation points.
Somewhere.
It was after
Steve
the
Carley. I've got a business called Carley Custom Builders, and we're at 7123 East 46th Street, which is across from 7140. My brother and I own 5 pieces of property there, 7105 through 7137 East 46th Street. And we've got a couple of beauty shops, nail salon, mechanic, church daycare center, and some warehousing there. So we've been there 25 years, and we try to work to keep the corner cleaned up. There's a lot of debris that comes from the Walgreens, which is now closed, so I don't know what's going to happen there next door to us. I'm a member of the Lawrence Chamber of Commerce. I care about the neighborhood over there. My reasons to object to zoning is, like I said, 3 of the places right across the street are either beauty shops or nail salons. It's all women employees, women customers. Okay. 7129, next door to my office, is occupied by the Restoration Crusade International Church. They have a daycare mission there that takes care of babies from 4 years old, or from toddlers to 4 years old. And quite a few of these kids are coming out of foster homes, kind of a specialty daycare center they have there. There again, all the workers there are women also, which concerns me. We'd like to have a safe workplace for all those people. They'll probably move somewhere else if there's too much problems, okay? Mrs. Jackson explained some things this evening that I didn't understand from the last time I was here. 11 people, 3 bathrooms. On a side note, the building is basically what I would call a ranch with a walkout basement. And the windows that I can see from the street are what I would call glass block. They're not opening windows, okay? In the new construction business, we have to have, of course, an egress window for every bedroom somebody can get out, okay? St. Lawrence Catholic School, of course, is right across the street there also. I don't understand the cost. If she's taking in $675 a month, that's about $80,000 a year. That's a big operation over there with 11 people. They've got a beautiful bus that probably holds 15 people, a new bus. I would guess it costs $500,000 to run that thing. I have a hard time understanding the financing that she's posing on. The last thing I object to is, this is the 4th notice I've gotten for a zoning hearing on this particular property, okay? Of course, this notice was for tonight, November 24th, okay? It's the 4th I've received. The others were dated August 4th, September 2nd, and October 17th. And all these were either continued or the wrong dates were on there. I really feel like it's an injustice to our neighbors here to have 4 different notices. It gets confusing. Therefore, I think this zoning request should be turned down mainly because of that reason. So we would get these notices on Friday in Lawrence Mail, and they would be for, Tuesday evening. Twice or three times, the wrong date was on there, and I'd call her in, and she would say, well, that's the wrong date again, they'll refile.
Sir, pardon me, I want to be mindful of our 10-minute collective total time to hear from everyone who wants to remonstrate. So just a quick follow-up question, if I could. With your female businesses, the nail salon, the beauty salon, the tenants you mentioned, have you heard anything firsthand from them about their concerns?
I have not.
Okay, fair enough.
There's one or two of them that would be very, well, how do I want to put this? They really know how to take care of themselves.
You've come a long way.
Any other thing?
What we're interested in is what has happened
Yeah,
that would cause
We want,
us to consider not allowing that to be here,
Okay.
be there.
Well, it's.
Not hearsay.
I care for the neighborhood, and it's a tough go with Walgreens shutting down. So hopefully you can help us out here. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Next on our list is Stan Wright.
My name's Stan Wright. I own the 3 properties to the north of this location. First of all, we can't understand how they got in there with no permission to start with. I've tried to get along with them. I talked to one lady back here briefly one time, and it was my understanding that it was people that had no money and no place to go. But now it's my understanding if they get this permission and so forth, they can let anybody in there that they want to. They can be convicted rapists or whatever, As long as they're on temporary hold and so forth, they can get by with anything they want. They noticed a lot of people. They wander around. There's a basement window between the walk-in door and the garage door. There's a lot of activity at that window at night. They open and close the window, so forth. My son has got a 5-year-old daughter that lives right next door to the north. And they took it upon themselves to cut everything off the fence. We had some sort of little barrier up there and so forth, They took it upon themselves to cut all that down and haul it off, put it in the dumpster, And there's apartments right to the west of them and so forth. There's nothing but a fence between them, so forth. There's kids walk up and down the street all the time from a Catholic school over there, back and forth on the sidewalk.
Stan, have you had any trouble yourself on your properties?
Sorry?
Have you had any trouble on any of your properties?
The biggest problem we have is people sleeping at night. This one guy, they said they got kicked out of this home or whatever over here, and he slept in the place across the street, outside the fence, any place he can find to sleep. It's my understanding they can't kick him out and so forth, but he's out of somewhere, so that's where it came from.
and is this a resident of, is that a resident, I mean, we're talking about, there's like apartment complex, there's other housing areas. So is this person that's sleeping outside, is that from her business?
Yes, he slept on the porches, against the fence, and in the vehicles around there.
And you know firsthand that was a resident of Mrs. Jackson's
Yes.
business?
We're going to ask her about that.
I confronted him.
We need to ask her about that. What other safety concerns do you have?
Sorry.
Other safety,
He's hard of hearing.
what What other safety concerns? Besides that, has there been any other safety problems?
Just occasionally,
What are those?
not regularly,
Yeah, we want to know, for example.
no.
We want to know what those examples are, Stan.
People walk down the street and they stick their nose and everything over the fences and so forth, you know, and then they go back to that home and so forth, and then they're back again, they go back to that home. What's the reason for it?
Well, these are mentally
know-
ill people.
I was a deputy sheriff for 50 years and so forth, so I'm kind of familiar with how people carry on.
Okay, got it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks, Stan.
okay.
Next on our list is James Mellick. Okay,
I'm just here for support, nothing's happened yet. I do own the house.
go ahead and give me your name and your
My name
address
is
for the
James
record.
Mellick. My address is 4603 Woodcroft, and I do own the house. My nephew is currently staying in it, and we did have a home like this before this one was here, or if this is the same one, and there was people walking on our properties, because I have security cameras, and I could see that when I come home at night. And I could watch my camera and watch them walk back to where they came from, and that's exactly where they came from.
You said when you lived there, how long since,
I have been gone about a year. I've been taking care of my mother. My mother just
Okay.
passed away.
oh, I'm sorry.
So she passed away on
But it's,
September.
you said about a year?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So, but I do have security cameras, and I can watch everything on those cameras, where they come from, where they came from, where they're going.
Okay.
So I'm here for support.
Thank
I
you.
haven't been there, so.
Thank you.
And that was all I had on the sign-in sheet. Did anybody else? Well, Rick, you'll get a chance, your counsel.
Anybody else?
Raised his hand, I thought.
Now we'll hear from the Honorable Rick Wells.
Come on.
Evening.
Good evening.
A long day.
Yes.
Well, Rick Wells, and most of you know me. I'm a city councilman for District 2. This is not my district. However, I know many of the people that are here tonight, and quite a few of them that are not, that have contacted me about this. Basically, I'm here for support of the citizens. I am familiar with that area. You know, my father had an air conditioning business over in that area back right after the license branch moved out. That's how long I've been around here. And Mr. Carley, I rented one of his buildings way back when, and I know Mr. Carley and his brother have put a lot of investment across the street, and I guess in listening to all this, Mr. Yates brought up the one question that I was hoping to hear was what happened. I mean, how do we get to this point? Why wasn't this done back before this ever got to where it is now? Why was the zoning not a concern back in the beginning? And you know, it kind of goes to me, the old saying is, you know, it's easier to ask for forgiveness than it is permission. And this is probably not maybe the case in zoning, but I just feel that the citizens are here, they're here in front of this board. I don't live over there. Like I said, I don't actually represent the district, but I do represent my city in District 2. But there is a concern, or these people wouldn't be here. And to me, that should be ample enough for, you know, for this board. I mean, my heart goes out to this board, because I've seen many, many times that you guys have made some really tough decisions, and this is probably yet another one. But this area is a lot like my district, District 2. It's the old part of Lawrence. And the old part of Lawrence is many, many times is the last to see any improvements. It's the, I know the people over there, and it may not be the case, but a lot of the people that live there think that, you know, the old part of Lawrence is somewhat forgotten because there's so much development on this part of the fort and in this area. But, you know, this area has taken a hit. They've lost their Walgreens, which was taking a step backwards. And I think that the fact that there's enough concern here that the board really needs to take the, you know, the feelings of the people that are here before you. That's all that I ask. The other thing that I would ask, that listening to what this lady does, it's a very important thing. It's a good thing that she's doing, but is it in the right spot? You know, I don't appear to be that it is. It doesn't appear to me that the building is even the right building. You know, if it was brought up about the windows, you know, if in case of a fire, you know, if there's a fire and all you have to egress is this one door, what if the fire is in the hallway and you can't egress into the hallway? Then what? You know, the lady said that she had a fire inspection, but didn't really hear any of the results from that. I'm assuming it must have passed, but, you know, it's questionable as to why it didn't pass. But, so at any rate, I know it's a tough decision, but I would task the city that if this lady, if this approval does not met tonight, that the city turns to this lady and helps her try to relocate. And Renee, I know you got connections with that, and so do I. Then maybe we could all work together to try to help her get a different location. But thanks again for what you do.
Thank you, Rick.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, so I'll do the city's position and go over the staff report. We were notified about this late last year, early this year, with an anonymous report from a resident who was living in this facility that they were being locked in at night and there were no smoke detectors. When we received that report, that information was forwarded to our fire marshal, who attempted to get access to the property. Eventually, he did get access, provided Ms. Jackson with some smoke detectors. The basement does not meet building code. You are required to have at least a 5-foot egress for each sleeping room that's in a basement. It has one door. In the you've got two down there. The door opens in. Did you change that? I know we talked about it.
One is in, but one is out.
Okay. So building code also requires that the doors open in the path of egress, which means as you're walking out. So the doors are required to open out. If there's a fire and the door's opening in, you've got a blockage for people to be able to get out. That is one of the big concerns as the building official that I have about the building is the safety of the people that are sleeping in that basement. I have been told that the doors, I've not seen it myself, I've not been in the building, but the report from the fire marshal was that the doors are deadbolted and do not have what we call panic hardware, which is a requirement per code. I was going to say, I haven't been in, so.
Ma'am, you can address all these when you have a chance to rebuttal.
So that was a big concern. We've not been back out to re-inspect the property, so that's where it was the last time fire was out to inspect. I did reach out to our chief of police and had them check the CAD reports for any runs to this property. There have been none. There was one patient, I don't know, hasn't woke up dead. They had to go and retrieve that body, but they've not had any disturbance calls or any investigations that they've performed on any of the residents living there. So it's not causing an issue from the police side. We do have some issues on the fire side and the building side that should be addressed in this building if it were to be approved to be used for this. We do not, in the city of Lawrence, have any zoning classification that fits this type of use. I know Rick had said something, if you guys denied it, maybe we could work to find her a place. We don't have anything in the city. Indianapolis has lots. There is lots of areas zoned D6 through D10, which is what's required for transitional living. You know, that's something that we just don't have designated in Lawrence. The building is zone C4. Transitional living quarters, like I said, require that D zoning, and that's more of a dwelling district and not so much in a commercial building. Commercial buildings aren't designed to meet residential code. So we've got some issues with that. There was a previous case that allowed a child care facility there. I did the measurements. The House of David, which is at 7725, is 386.5 feet away from this building. And the St. Lawrence School is 579 feet. Zoning code requires a minimum of 600 feet separation. So we're closer, and I didn't know about Mr. Carley's church and daycare, so I'm not sure what the distance to those facilities are. And that's what I was able to find in my research for this property. The administration was presented with the facts that I just presented to you. Our economic development director recommended denial, and our city engineer said that he would leave it up to you, people who are in the position you are, to make that decision for the city.
Thank you, Renee. Any questions for Renee? Okay. Ma'am, you'll be able to have a 5-minute rebuttal to what was been talked about.
Come on up, Lorraine.
But however, with individuals leaving, not, you know, like I said, this is sort of complicated. I have referrals. People come. Once I do the interview, you know, they may not be accepted, but I may feed them or sometimes.
Could you address could you address that ingress and
Yes.
egress and doors locking and all that?
Oh, I
Fire
can.
issues.
When I talked to the fire marshal that came out, he said, well, how about the exit signs? I put in all new exit signs because they lit up, but I didn't know about the button or something where they would do. So it was just easier for me to just put all new equipment in. So I did that. The next thing with the doors, because the people are downstairs, there's 2 exits upstairs, but he said if you would change the locks so where they could go out if they needed to. But with the fire alarms, I have that, it's set up with my camera system. It's, you know, and he didn't see that up in the building at first, and it had the date and everything on it. So I changed the locks where if that was a concern, but I didn't want some of the older ones that has dementia to get out, but I have the alarms on the doors. So if a door opens, the alarm goes off at any time of the day for that.
So the door's now open outward, and there's an emergency apparatus to
On
open
one
the
of
door?
them,
On one of them.
downstairs, on one of them.
Just
The other
one.
one, I changed the lock on as he requested. On all of them, I did what was requested in a timely fashion for him. And so he wanted me to get past this before, and then he was going to come back out, and then we would take that a step further.
What is your current status with the fire marshal then?
I mean,
So currently as far as the fire marshal's review,
Mm-hmm.
where are you at with that?
well, I did everything that he requested me, except for he didn't want to, take this a step further before I went before the board. So,
You'll wait.
but as far as everything he requested me to do, I did that. And he was okay with that.
You list 21 partnerships, and it sounds like you do a great service for them. Why didn't you bring one of your partners in to speak to your activities and the good deeds you're doing?
I guess when you asked me the things that you wanted me to provide, I could have an array of things, but I did keep in mind it's only 10 minutes, and I, went past that each time. But I did provide the things that was requested of me, and I actually added, that was nothing that was requested of me. I did try to put a few things in there extra, just so that you could see what I was doing.
And I thank you. That's very helpful.
Thank you.
Yes.
And just, you obviously do very good work. The whole question is location, zoning, and
And I
safety of
understand
the
that.
building.
And I understand, the safety issue, and I'm not going to really take in someone that I think would be a threat to anyone. I'm not going to do that. But when you're dealing with people and you want them to understand society and that people will show them love, you pretty much have to have them and somewhat.
That's not what's in front of us tonight. We understand that. We think you're doing good work. But what's in front of us is,
I have a follow-up to that, actually.
Okay.
So most of the safety concerns we've heard tonight, we've been asking, I think you heard, most everything that has been brought to us has been hypothetical or kind of emotionally driven. But there was the one of this person that's sleeping on your porch, and I wanted to know if you can address that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't know who that would be, but I do have individuals that come, they just send them because to different places, as I have.
When you say they, who are you saying?
It could be someone from, a caseworker from the hospital, they have a list of homes, that they can come to.
Just drop them off?
No, they catch the bus or whatever to come in for an interview. Just say, for instance, you were at VOA. They have a list of places that they could go. You could choose anyone off of that list. But I have an interview process. So even though you came, I may not accept you, but you may have been planning on staying there. You don't have any money, you really don't have anywhere to go, but I can't let you stay, so.
So do you recollect that particular instance when someone was sleeping?
I don't.
Okay.
I really don't. I'm trying to understand that, but remember that, but I don't remember that.
The other question was, so how long have you been in business? Has it been more than 1 year in July? Or was there another transitional home before you? Or
I was on the west side. I think I mentioned
Okay.
that before.
you don't know what was in that building before you?
Where
It's a realty.
I am now,
realty
it was a dance studio.
Okay.
But I haven't, encountered any problems and with my clients. I mean, I understand that when you hear different things about people, but that's why I share it. A lot of the people, they really aren't criminals. They just have issues.
Sure.
And they
Right.
need their medication, so,
We understand.
okay,
Okay. I think those are all my questions.
okay.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I just, I feel compelled to make a statement here that, the question here again is, the important work that you're doing, we all recognize that. And these individuals are sick, heaven forbid that could be any of us. They can't help it if they're walking around behaving strangely. I mean, they're mentally ill people. But the challenge here is the location, right? So if this petition would in fact be denied for any reason, I only hope that, council would take up the effort maybe to try to find a resolution somewhere else. But it sounds like it's just in such close proximity to, to schools and day. I think it's the challenge of the location. So I just wanted to share that.
Thank you.
I'd like to make a statement in response that we have a mentally ill individual in our neighborhood that is threatening people. And I've not heard anything of that sort here tonight. I would suggest that if we did approve it, that we would limit it to this specific provider with a one-year renewal. And obviously, you have to go through the fire marshal and
Okay, so when we read it,
Yep.
you want the commitment added that it would be to Lorraine Hope Jackson and the Great Answers for You business only. Is that what I'm understanding?
Yes.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
I want to add that I like the idea of having the 1-year renewable, and that is for a lot of these.
what's your idea?
Was my idea. That's why I like it, naturally. But a lot of these findings are inconclusive. I think we can't conclude that because there has never been this. Does not exist in Lawrence. I think that is a genuine hardship. I think her lease also proposes a genuine hardship. I think as far as injuries to the public health, I think we have a series of hypotheticals, but no concrete evidence, but they've not been in operation long enough for us to say definitively that these hypotheticals couldn't come to fruition. And so I like the idea of having her come back after a year to check if there's other police reports, to give the neighbors a chance to say. And as far as, we haven't had any decline in property values as a result.
Okay.
I want to also make sure that the fire marshal would be approving, because I think if we don't have everything corrected within a year, then we can deny it.
That's the safety of the resident.
That gives us a little bit of control over.
Okay, so to this petitioner, only for the Great Answers for You for a 1-year period, and then it would need a past fire marshal inspection before the next hearing, or is that what you want? Okay.
And the next hearing is a year away.
Okay, one more question. Do you want her to pay for the petition again to be heard? Obviously, she'd have to do notices and all that.
Well, if that's our requirement,
Yes.
So I'm just asking, but I want to make sure that it's clear and on record what you want.
if we're requiring it of her, I feel that she should not
Perfect.
pay.
I think so too. I just want to make sure.
That she should not.
Should not.
Okay,
Do you guys agree?
I do.
Should not want.
with no fee to refile in a year.
Fee to refile,
Okay.
But I think she should serve notice.
but
She
Oh,
should
yeah,
serve
notice has
notice.
to
we
be served.
definitely want notice.
Yes.
Yeah,
But you can waive that fee because you're requiring her to refile.
correct.
Okay.
Correct. It's like probation. We want you to come check in, the sample.
Renee, since you've got all the commitments, I'm going to
You want me to read it?
I'll let you read it
Is
to
the
make
board
sure
ready to
we,
vote, or is there anything else you
Wait a
want
minute,
me to
hold on.
add?
we have the remonstrators that have a 5-minute rebuttal
Oh,
if they
yes, we
want.
do. I'm trying to go home. Sorry, guys.
Remonstrators
Is anyone-
or against the petition, 5 minutes. Do you have anything to
Combined.
add to? Okay.
Thank you. Okay, is the board ready to vote then?
Yes.
All right, we are going to be voting on petition 23 LSE 08 7140 East 46th Street, a special exception variance of the City of Indianapolis Consolidated Zoning Subdivision Ordinance, Table 743-1, to allow transitional living quarters in a C4 zone, which is not allowed. The following commitments will be required. This is to this petitioner only for great answers for you. It is for a one-year period. There will be no fee to refile and have the petition heard again in a year. Prior to the next hearing, the fire marshal will have to inspect and pass the inspection, fire inspection. Yes. Is that all? Okay.
It's the only way.
The board has voted 3 to grant and 2 to deny, so it has been granted with the stipulations provided. With no other business, the Lawrence Board of Zoning Appeals adjourned.